Hey everybody, my name is Matty Rants. For those of you who are already part of the channel, you know that, but if you're new here, you're like, who is this guy who's kind of watch it? I want to give you the story of how I adopted my baby Mamochan, and how that all came to be in the process for it. So I hope you're in for a good story, as well as everything that I went through with the do's and don'ts, I guess, so far, or I guess me spending way too much money trying to be prepared here. So thanks for tuning in. Let's get it started. If you want to find me on my other social media pages, there's a Linktree link in the description down below. Just click it, it'll take you to my Instagram and Twitter. Trust me, I post a lot of videos of Mamochan, but I also cover shows like Drag Race, pretty much any of the LGBTQIA plus programming you can think of, along with some other stuff every now and then. And have a good time here on my channel, so definitely subscribe and hit that like button before you make any other decisions today. I also do reactions on Patreon for as low as $1. There's literally 300 plus videos for you to tune in, lots of content there, and I'm bookable on Cameo. I love that I don't have to do a disclaimer for this video like I normally do, since this isn't a live and this is also about my cat. So let's get the story started. To give a little backstory here, I actually filmed a lot of videos for this, but they all just didn't seem to be right, and it was really me being anxious while I was sort of filming the experience. I'm also glad that I stopped there for a second, because 3 weeks later is a different experience from day one of adopting this cat, and I have a lot more insight. A lot. For those of you wondering, I've had animals before, but those were around the time when I was younger, and I really wasn't taking care of the animals the way I should have, and I also didn't know anything about what was going on. I used to have a cat named Dukes, named after Dukes of Hazzard, because my cat was nutters. Unfortunately, we had to move in this really crazy scenario with my family, and we ended up having to give the cat away. Same thing happened with my dog Spicy many moons ago, and my other dog Shadow. So when I was younger, based off of one day us moving from a house and having to give up everything that we had, and us as a family, my parents were trying to keep the kids shielded from that information. We didn't know that our animals were actually adopted out, and our parents did that behind our backs. I was 16 at the time, so I need y'all to understand, I'm 36 now, and that was 20 years ago. I've had a dog in between that time, but that was when I was in college, and again, my parents were involved in the sort of, no, you can't have an animal, we don't like animals here. Well, really my dad. And I ended up having to give the dog away, but she got adopted to a good household. Her name was Deja Vu. It was a chow lab mix. So for me, I have multiple years of not owning an animal, but always being like an uncle to my friends' pets and animals. But I had a little bit of a, I guess you could say PTSD a little bit from having to give away, so many different pets that I loved and that I cared for, but maybe I wasn't ready to have them. I don't know. I just didn't want to have another animal again until I knew I was going to be fully prepared to take care of them. And that was the big decision I had to make. So for many years, I wanted to get another cat or another dog, but I never felt like I was ready until now. Now I feel ready to take care of an animal. So for me, I made that decision this year, 2023, to get a kitten. But maybe a cat or a senior cat. I didn't know yet. I did a lot of shopping. Of course, I went to PetSmart and saw the cats you could adopt there. Went to a couple of other places, but one thing I noticed is that some of the adoption centers and these special places that they have a lot of background checks. And I get why they're doing this, because we want to make sure animals are safe and protected, but that kind of deterred me from the process. Of course, I've already paid the deposit fee for my apartments, and I've done all of my due diligence for that, but it was one of them, I'm not gonna say who it was asking for it was like a family reference, a friend reference, a work reference. Like, okay, whoa. I've already put down the $250 over here, baby. I just wanna get this animal. I understand why they did that, but that wasn't for me. I wasn't trying to have friends and family all up in my business like that, as well as other people being all up in their business to my business. I just wanted to get an animal to take care of and love. I chose to go to the Houston ASPCA and adopt a cat. Before I did that, I asked a lot of you what I should get, and these are the many things. There was wet food, Matt. You need dry food, Matt. You need a water fountain here. You need tidy cats. You need the clump and seal. So I pretty much bought everything. I have this giant cat condo that is currently sitting by the window now that he rarely ever uses, but he sometimes finds his way there. I have another cat condo that you can see right over here, but it's more so a small studio with a little high rise moment over here that he has. But, you know, really, it was just a process of learning that I don't need to buy everything, but in the beginning, I try to get as much as possible so that I knew that my cat would be okay and whatever he liked, he'd have. So I wish I kind of eased up on it because I definitely spent way more than 200, probably 300, $400 on this cat before I got him. But I just wanted to be sure that he was going to be okay, that he would be in a comfortable environment. So I did everything that I could. I listened to as many suggestions as possible, but at the same time, I kind of wish I didn't because I became so overwhelmed. And also, I'm learning that not every cat, of course, is the same, but also not the way every pet parent handles situations is going to be the same. So not everyone's advice is for you. So for those of you giving me advice, I appreciate it. Some of you were wrong and others were right, but at the same time, that works in your household. So no judgments here. Also, Galaxy Jackson, thank God for you. My first introductions to him were on Animal Planet, which used to be about animals, but now it's more reality TV show based. It's kind of disappointing, but I found him on the Animal Planet and as well as on Facebook short videos, some YouTube videos that I ended up getting into his full world. But he had a lot of great advice and also didn't really speak in a condescending way, even though some of the times when it came to the expensive things, I'd hear a little tone of, well, if you love your cat, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. I'm trying here, but no, I think he is definitely the guy to go to on YouTube, as well as a couple of other videos from other content creators I saw who were like, I adopted a cat, and I just wanted to see what they did in their process. So let's get to the ASPCA. I'm currently driving now. Unfortunately, it's later in the day, and I'm catching like the school's getting out and stuff. I'm like, wait, school's not out yet? Like, ah! But yeah, I'm just trying to make it to the shelter and start this process. I have arrived at the shelter now, and I'm about to go inside and let's see if we come out with a baby. I was walking through the ASPCA and it was like my first time being at this new location. I remember many moons ago, they had a different one when I used to go look at dogs with an ex of mine, but they have a new location. It was really nice, clean. Everybody there was very friendly. It seemed so quiet when I walked in, but the cats were right in the front, and it was this nice little, you know, you could walk around and see all of the cats. They had different ones in different areas, some that you can definitely tell were a little closer to each other. But when I walked in, I was looking for bonded pairs because everyone told me to get 2 cats, and I was a little overwhelmed by that, but I'm like, yeah, let's go for it, right? There weren't any bonded pairs there, so I was like, okay, well, let's still keep looking because the goal today is to get this cat. Also, the significance of the day that I got Mamochan, it was the day before my mom's birthday. A lot of y'all know I lost my mother in 2011, and of course, around her birthday, which is the 26th of May, I always get extremely emotional, as well as her death date. It's just every year it is the same feelings and being overwhelmed and sadness, as well as happiness of remembering my mom, because she was one of my best friends in life, right? But I wanted to get Mamochan on this day specifically because I wanted it to be associated close to around my mom, because my mom loved animals too, and I sort of felt like having this cat with me, and you know, he's definitely been, I'm getting emotional talking about him, but he's been the best thing so far. Anywho, let's continue with the story. So I'm walking around, I see older cats, I see some young babies. There were, you know, different colors. There were some orange tabbies. Duke's was an orange, you know, he had the little tiger stripes, but he was very orange with stripes cat. I didn't want to go that route again because I remember how crazy he was. And I also thought about, why not get a black cat? And I think black cats are gorgeous. So that was where my mind was at. I said tuxedo, black, or a Russian blue, which I think would have been rare to find at the ASPCA. So excuse me. So I literally make a U and I see every single cat and I'm like, I don't know just yet. I was like, oh, maybe this wasn't the journey for me. I don't know if this is going to be right or perfect or whatnot. But we'll see. And sure enough, Mamochan, whose name at the time was James, was the last cat at the end of this U that you can go around and see the animals. He was the last one on the top, right at the corner. If I had just skipped over everybody, you know, and went a different direction, I would have probably saw him first, but I chose to go from one direction all the way through, and then bam, there he is. His name was James. I was like, James? Like, no, he needs a cool name. But he was the only one to walk up to me directly at the window, put his paw right up, slide that sucker down, and meow, like, hi, real quick. I said, uh-oh, this might be the one. And of course, one of the people working at the ASPCA was like, oh, I just was handling him a moment ago. Are you interested in him? Like, you know, maybe he may not be up to it, but he's really friendly and he's a talker. I was like, perfect, so am I. So let me go ahead and see him. And this video right here that you see is the first interactions I had with him. He was immediately comfortable. He was left in the room alone with me. He, you know, looked for her at first, but then said, who is this guy? Hopped up on the chair with me, asked for pets, was meowing. I don't get to show this because I was like really emotional. I was trying not to cry in front of the lady, but he got right in my lap and purred, biscuit up, and just nuzzled me. And I said, uh-oh, he's mine. He has chosen me. I am his owner. He is my son. No, I am his dad. He is my son. And I knew just based off of that connection, okay, I have to have this cat. There's just no other way. Mamochan's story is kind of sad, and this was one of the reasons why I got him. They had told me that he was hit by a car. They weren't sure if he was a stray kitten or not because he was so easy to handle and he wasn't hissing or being mean at anyone. So they assumed that someone had owned him and then just left him out somewhere in the middle of the street, dropped him off in a ditch with his brothers, because apparently he had other cats with him in a box. I don't think, from my understanding, sad to say this, but not all of those kittens made it, and Mamu was one of the ones to make it, but had been hit by a car just as a kitten, and of course was brought to the ASPCA. So they said that whenever I got him, he had just finished healing from the broken leg, and when I looked at his leg, you could tell they had shaved it off and, you know, did everything they could for him. So he's a trooper, and it's shocking that he's so sociable. Now with other cats, not so much, but with humans, oh, honey, he's gonna step away for just a second. He's gonna look at you and observe you. Then he's gonna walk up and be like, hello, my name is Mamu. My dad says Mamochan, but I prefer Mamu. I like pets and I like treats. This wasn't too bad. The adoption fee wasn't expensive at all. It actually was $25 to adopt the cat. I did have to sign some paperwork basically stating I would not return this cat to them, and I would take care of this cat to the best of my abilities, and that wherever he's going to be safe, you know? And then also, they told me what his diet would be, which I was already prepared. I had the science diet ready to go. That's what they've been feeding him. That's what I feed my cats and dogs whenever I used to have them. So I was like, oh, this is perfect. He already was neutered. He had his rabies shots. All of that was done. So they just had a couple of other things he had to get taken care of, such as like his heartworm and flea medication, which I've already done. But, you know, basically they gave me a list of things that he needs to do and what the schedule was. So it really gave me the idea of, oh, let's get him a vet and let's make sure we keep him on track for everything so he's healthy, right? So I already bought a carrier for him so he didn't have to leave in the boxes that they had for the ASPCA, and we put a scratcher in there. And I drove him home. And of course, it was around, unfortunately, this was around like rush hour for Houston. We were in traffic for quite some time, and the ASPCA is not that close to my house. When I did get him home, you know, of course, he gets out the carrier, he walks around, he immediately finds a little safe spot. I tried to block away the bed, but he ended up getting under the bed, and I was like, oh my God, he's gonna be stuck in there forever. But lo and behold, Mamochan ends up coming out like maybe within 3 hours of being underneath there, and he immediately starts to socialize with me, and ever since then he's just gotten more and more comfortable every day. But yes, so I adopted him on May 25th, 2023, and his name was James, but I changed it to Mamochan. And for those of you who don't know where that comes from, it's from Mamoru, who is actually Darien in the English version of Sailor Moon, but that's Tuxedo Mask. So I named him Mamochan because that's how Usagi, who is Sailor Moon used to call Mamu as a way of form of endearment and love and, familiarity, the full bit. And so I just thought it was such a cute name for him, and he loves it. So it's Mamochan, but we say Mamu for short. Mamu. Getting this cat was the best decision I ever made for myself. Emotionally, I was definitely feeling a little lonely at home. At the same time, I've always wanted to have another animal again and something to take care of. And I gotta say, as much as I'm taking care of him, he is certainly taking care of me. Like, for real, for real. I love this cat so much. So he is a open litter box, clump and seal kind of guy. He hates the pellets. Do not ask. He's gained some weight, which is good because he was really skinny when I got him. But yeah, getting this cat has been one of the best things ever to happen for me. I know I've said it again, but I'll say it over again. And I'm so thankful to have him in my life. I feel like I'm going to take care of him forever until his ever is all ever and any evers. And yeah, maybe getting a second one, but I haven't decided yet. I got to still build a good bond with him right now. And yeah, if you're ever thinking about adopting an animal or a cat, do it. Just make sure you have the funds to get that taken care of. Get a veterinarian that works for you. I have a vet with a plan. I have insurance on my cat right now in case anything is to happen. I do pay monthly for that sucker. It's definitely not as much as a car insurance, okay? But find the ones that work for you. Some people go through Banfield with PetSmart. There are other veterinarians that are established throughout the city, especially with Houston. Of course, when I got him, the ASPCA gave me a bunch of different options, and there were a lot in my area too. So look around, shop, make sure you are making the right decision. If you don't feel like you can handle an animal, don't get it. But I knew I wanted one. I knew I could handle it. And even within the 3 weeks now, especially with eating and everything else, I've learned to stop overthinking and just let things be, and your animal will let you know. He'll let you know if they want something else or if something's not right. And so he's teaching me and I'm teaching him, and I just love him so much. Mamo, you want to come up here and say hi real quick? Hi, baby. Listen, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Give this video a like and subscribe. Me and Mamochan are going to get back to our day now. Look, I know. Yes, you will. I appreciate you so much for being here. Like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you for another video later. Look for some shorts.